Silent Hill 2 is one of those games that needs no introduction. Its reputation precedes it. Really, what can be said about Silent Hill 2 that hasn't already been said at least 500,000 times? While I do have theories about Silent Hill that I think differ from the popular consensus, there is one that is completely absent from the consensus, or from anyone's thoughts for that matter, and that is this white van. You see, I noticed this van almost immediately, mainly because it came up again and again, at least 3 times within the opening 5 minutes of the game. Now, while filming this, I noticed that a green truck pops up a similar number of times. However, this is not a video theorizing about the green truck. We're talking about the white van. Okay, so just forget about the green truck. Anyway, what is going on with the white van?
So Cardi,
You were doing so
you're
good.
never gonna make it as a YouTuber. Just
But
kidding.
you didn't quite make it
It's
down, did
awful.
you?
Your videos are terrible. The audio
You
is
suck so, Carney.
all bad. Just quit making video.
Soul Carney, did something happen to you?
So Silent Hill 2 is one of those games that has just been talked about forever and ever. Which leads me to wonder why no one has talked about the white vans. It's such a prominent, reoccurring thing. You see it almost as often as you would see any of the straitjackets in the game while you're walking the streets of the city. So, why aren't there many theories about the white vans? Well, sometimes these little benign things sort of slip our mind and cause us to not take notice of things that perhaps we should. Like anything else in Silent Hill 2, I think that the white vans must represent something about James's psyche. Just as the straitjackets or the nurses or the mannequins or Pyramid Head might also, so too must the white vans. Mustn't they? They must. And the white vans represent James's inner desire to fix things. The white vans represent James's inner desire for fantasy. The white vans represent James's inner desire to have a better shoe game. The white vans represent James's inner desire for solitude, the lack of windows, the isolation of the van itself, and how dark it must be inside those vans, and lack of candy is just the white vans represent James's desire to kidnap little children. You! Okay, that one might be a little bit of a stretch there. The white vans don't mean anything. It's a simple little model that the developers of the game were able to just place in the streets of places to make it look abandoned, although formerly populated. You see, Silent Hill 2 is one of those games that's been around for so long that so many people have talked about it and thought about it for so long that there's not a whole lot of nuance to the nuance anymore. Everything has an answer. You see, you probably understood what I meant when I say that all of the creatures have a certain psychological meaning towards James, and the answers probably popped into your head, the typical ones given about his sort of lustful eye for the nurses or for his wife, manifesting themselves in people like Maria and the actual nurse enemies and the sort of sexual nature of all the enemies in the game, all the nuance there and the subtlety that is never directly stated in the game, by the way, is gone. Those are accepted as fact, and that's it. That's all you have. You can't have an original opinion about that because it's already been said, it's already been confirmed to be true, and everyone just kind of accepts that. There are countless YouTube videos all over this site explaining these irrationally strange fan theories about some sort of favorite childhood property, or not even that, just a movie or a game or something that's fairly popular. And they tend to be ridiculously long, and they tend to be ridiculous. Sorry, that was probably annoying. A good example of this, and I didn't properly do my research for this video and look up who made the original video and who made the follow-up video, because it was two different accounts, and I just remember that they're a thing. Someone made a video, a fun fan theory video, that what if Snowpiercer is a sequel to Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory? And that's a fun theory. Legitimately is. But it's not canon to Snowpiercer. The theory was just supposed to be kind of fun and lighthearted. Yet, somebody took that theory, made a longer video, and just kind of went off the rails with it. All these different musical cues in the movie, they said, were similar to ones in Willy Wonka, and I mean, if you close your eyes and plug your ears and pretend like you're listening to the Willy Wonka theme song, maybe, but otherwise, no. Otherwise, this was an example of a fan theory taken way too far. People focusing on the wrong things about a movie and missing the message of the piece of art itself. And this is something that happens far too often. People get lost in the weeds about these random little details and all this stuff, and just completely forget to let the art tell them what it's trying to tell them. I mean, just think about all these different fan theories about SpongeBob characters being different drugs, or Charlie Brown being in some kind of personal purgatory, or Ed, Edd and Eddy being in some kind of purgatory, or Scooby-Doo taking place during some sort of depression, which I like that theory, but you miss the point when you get that deep in the weeds. And while it can be fun, you can get lost in it and kind of lose your mind. In the weeks since I have finished playing Silent Hill 2, I have seen this. People getting deep into the weeds with every little thing about Silent Hill 2. And I caught myself doing it when I went to make this video, which originally was going to unironically be a fan theory about the white vans. And then I stopped myself because I realized there's absolutely nothing the white vans could possibly represent. I mentioned it in the intro, but there's a similar number of green trucks as there are white vans. So to make some kind of theory about that would just be stupid, unnecessary, missing the point. Maybe they're Eddie's, and maybe it's Eddie and what is that girl's name? Maybe it's their cars. Anyway, like I was saying, people get too deep in the weeds and then they miss the point of the game. I think, personally, people get too deep in the weeds on something they're kind of supposed to, at least step into the weeds with, and that is all these creatures that James encounters over the course of the game. And that is totally fine, and I'm not even necessarily opposed to a lot of the theories, or many of the theories surrounding why each creature is the way it is. However, there is one thing that I think people get wrong about Silent Hill 2. And I know art is subjective. And I know technically there isn't a wrong interpretation. But I think people are too hard on James Sunderland. Now hear me out. He still totally killed his wife. But he killed his wife out of an act of mercy. Now the guilt from this is eating him alive, and that's what happens when he returns to Silent Hill 2. He knows he killed his wife, but his subconscious won't let him accept that. There's a line at the end of the game, and I believe it's misinterpreted. James goes back on what he said and says, "No,
Truth is,
I hated
you.
I
I wanted you out of
my
the
life."
way. I wanted my life back.
There's this thing that happens to people when they're taking care of an ailing or dying loved one. When that loved one dies, there is relief, because all of that work and stress is gone. They're also grieved because obviously someone they're close to has passed on, but there's relief in knowing that the toil is over, and that is why James killed his wife Mary. And I believe Mary asked him to, and was okay with that. She would rather her life be taken by someone she loved than by some damn disease. And that is the real ending of Silent Hill 2. The ending I got was the ending called Leave. James accepting what he had done to his wife, accepting that while maybe not the right thing to do, that she forgave him for it, or she had at least asked for that death.
I told you that I wanted to die, James.
And James Sunderland's spirit can rest and be at peace with that. Now, I understand that there are some other much more upsetting endings. The ending I think was meant to happen, the ending I think you're meant to come to, is that of James accepting what has happened, and accepting that he just kind of has to accept that and live with it. He has to he has fully processed the grief of his wife dying at that point and can completely move on with his life. And I think that is the story of Silent Hill 2 that gets lost when you start chasing white vans. Well, I hope this made sense. I haven't put a video out in like 3 or 4 weeks now, so I hope people watch this. I definitely want to do more Silent Hill videos. I don't know if I will, but I definitely want to do more. So subscribe if you want to see that. I hope this video is not too quiet. I'm kind of far away from the camera. It's late. I'm tired and I have class in the morning. So I'll see you all next time. I have been the Soul Carney. It's so cringe. It's so cringe.